Hello and welcome. My name is Travis Fuselier with the Fish and Wildlife Services. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for sitting down and showing interest in the jobs and duties of a game warden in the Fish and Wildlife Services. Formally, I'd like to introduce you to what my title is. I am a special agent with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Services, and before I get into exactly what the job entails, I would like to share a little bit more with you about myself. Like I said before, my name is Travis Fuselier. I am a Florida Fish and Wildlife Game Warden Special Agent. I moved originally to Florida from Beaumont, Texas when I was about 10 years old. I was highly skeptical about moving to Florida. I'd never been here. And once I moved here, I was absolutely sold. I just love the outdoors. I love the weather. I love the climate, everything about it. From an early age, like I said, moving here around about 10, I always loved to be outside doing things, whether it was camping, whether it was hiking, doing anything like that, always getting my friends to go out with me and do things outside. Never wanted to be cooped up for too long. And this really took a hold of me when, my personal values bought into it, which came mostly from my dad, who taught me that number one, treat other people how you'd have them treat yourself, and two, to never belittle or put anyone down for something that they are doing. Whether they're doing something that's a good job or a bad job, I never believe it's your place to put someone down, and that is what speaks to me probably more than anything else. Like I said, moved here around about 10 years old, and those set of values didn't really mean much to me until I was able to personalize them. And one of the things I've always been passionate about is serving others. I've always wanted to be at a position where I could help other people out. And nothing makes me feel better than when I'm able to lend a helping hand to someone. And this fused with my my values. Being that, always treating people how you'd want them to treat you, meaning that I provide excellent service any way that I can, and I never want to make someone feel bad about anything, really. But getting more into the job itself, I always knew I wanted to be in some form of service, so at an early age, I'd say about 14, I started thinking about law enforcement and what I wanted to do with that. It was really slow at first. I'd had no clue what I wanted to do. Most of the jobs I had in mind were regular police officer jobs, or maybe like highway patrol, things like that. But none of those things really spoke to me. I saw it as a job that I could do, but not necessarily a job that I would want to be happy doing for the rest of my life. And so I had to really think hard about what I wanted to do. I mean, I'd graduated high school. I was ready to start my career, or at least start my education and working towards my career. And a friend of my dad's was at a house party of ours one time, and he had been a Florida Fish and Wildlife game warden for about 15 years. I'd actually never even heard about the position before. I had no idea what a game warden was until he explained it to me further. And he told me about the job, about their duties in protecting animals and endangered species and migratory animals and things like that, which really got me thinking. Because not only that, but also the Florida Fish and Wildlife, they also serve people. We are very outgoing and quick to teach the public about wildlife safety and care and prevention. And so it really took a hold of me, and I looked more into it. And the more I looked, the more I liked. And so first, I had to know what kind of education I would need. Looking into it, I thought for sure I would need at least a 4-year degree in some sort of bachelor program or something like that. But the more I looked, the more I found out I actually don't even need to graduate college. In fact, you don't even need to graduate high school to get into being a game warden. All you have to do is send in an application to the headquarters in Tallahassee. They'll set up a schedule with you, see if you can pass a physical exam, a health exam, all those sort of things. And if you do that, you're into the training program. Now, the training program confused me a little bit. I wasn't exactly sure what it was going to be like. And I'll talk more about that after explaining a little bit of what it took for me to get there. After talking with my dad's friend for a little while, I learned that there's multiple levels in the Florida Fish and Wildlife. Starting out, you have game wardens, and then you can work your way up to being a special agent or even a senior special agent. I had no idea what that meant, and I wasn't sure if the requirements changed to be in any of those positions. And so I did some research. I found out that you don't need a degree for pretty much any of the positions. However, they do prefer you to have a degree, which is where I got my inspiration. I knew that I wanted to stand out if I wanted to have a job that was perfectly fit for me. I knew I was going to have to work hard and make myself the absolute best version I could be, of course, of myself. So I pursued a relatively easy course at Valencia College. I pursued a AA degree in general studies just to get my foot in the door. My goal was to plan and work my way into direct connect with UCF. I wanted to pursue a degree in criminal justice, which I thought for sure would be the best opportunity for me to stand out and become a game warden special agent. Well, starting out at Valencia, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. I knew a lot of the people going there were going for all sorts of things. I rarely met anybody else that wanted to do anything in criminal justice, and it was sort of demoralizing in a way. I wasn't sure exactly if I could do it or not. However, the resources and the people at Valencia College truly helped me to be the best version of myself and truly helped to encourage me to do anything that I put my mind to. One class I took was the New Student Experience class. My professor was Professor Lavonda Walker, and in the beginning of that class, I absolutely doubted what it was going to do for me. I thought it was just a bunch of pencil pushing work. I wasn't going to be doing anything important. It wasn't going to be anything for my degree in specific. But it turned out to be so much more than that. Throughout that course, our professor explained to us what time management was, what college resources were. She introduced us to the college library, which helped me on more papers than I can count, and really taught me how to be resourceful. This was key and influential. I started at Valencia in the fall of 2014 and graduated in the fall of 2017, where I then direct connected to UCF to pursue my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. There was a whole lot of things I had to do, restrictive electives, which were a real pain at some point, but all of it was worth it. I ended up graduating from Valencia, or not from Valencia College, from UCF in 2021, where I then went directly into the Fish and Wildlife Services of Florida.